Yo, this is Teresa Weatherspoon, better known as Teaspoon, and you're watching Real Fans, Real Talk.
Live from the can. Vibe the can.
This is Real Fans, Real Talk. Real fans, real talk. We as real as you thought. Real fans.
What's going on? Welcome to another live edition of Real Fans, Real Talk. We got a whole lot to get into, man. Basketball season, football season. Dudes was crying after they got their ass whooped in the World Series. All types of things was going down. But let me introduce my co-host, my brother, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on?
What's really good, bro? I'm not gonna let you take that shot at Vlad like that. That sounded real haterish from the Yankees right there.
Nah, you know why I had to do that? Because see, it's one thing as a fan, you talk your little ish, but when he did that whole thing, the Yankees lost. It's like, bro, like you ain't even win nothing yet. So now it's like,
but that wasn't. Hold on, Chirp. Hold on. I know we're not gonna spend too much time on it, but that wasn't his fault. Big Poppy was doing it first, and then he did it a part of like the whole segment and all that because they was poking fun at Jeter. Now.
Big Poppy could do that. You ain't Big Poppy.
Yeah, but come on. We mad at the dude. First of all, the dude had a hell of a playoff series. Had they won, if their closer doesn't blow that save, Vlad is going to be World Series MVP. In terms of what he did in the playoffs, it's one of the greatest historical playoff performances. Home runs, total bases, RBIs, everything across the board. Everything he did will go down in history. So it'd be one thing if he was mocking the Yankees, but he didn't play good. He put the beats on y'all when he played against the Yankees, and he did his thing against the Dodgers. And to me, he played better than Ohtani in the World Series. Just obviously, they lose those two critical extra inning games.
Sounds like somebody else that we know that gets a lot of grief when he puts up historic runs. But it may be a better team on the other side of that. But
I know you're not trying to. I know you're not trying to take the conversation and start the show.
No. That's why I didn't say no names. But he opened the door. So like I said, I don't care if it was a fan that did that, but it's like, yo, as a player to do that, nah, bro. So and then you cry after. It's like, yo, you got to stand on business. You lost. You lost.
I'm okay with him crying after they lost. He didn't cry like we got cheated. He cried from the standpoint of like, damn, we came close to winning because he said all along during his playoff run, he wanted to win the ring for his dad. So he said that from day one. His goal was to physically gift his dad the World Series ring. So that's why I understand the range of emotions. Because again, you're that close, bro. You're 2 outs away from winning the World Series. Your closer gives up a home run to tie the game, and then for the second time in like 5 days, you lose an extra inning game. Those are heartbreaking losses. So I'm okay with that, bro.
You ever see the movie A League of Their Own?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
There's no crying in baseball.
Get him out of there. It is what it is. Sorry. Congratulations.
They're gonna kill y'all again next year. They're gonna be a problem for y'all. They're gonna be a problem for y'all for a long time.
Congratulations to the Dodgers on a hell of a World Series, on winning back-to-back, and they from Brooklyn. So salute to y'all. Now let's get into some of these comments because I know y'all gonna be getting at us if we don't get through all of these comments today. Shout out to Kyrie. He says Cardinals versus Cowboys tonight. Who y'all got? Battle of the Bads. I'm going with Dallas tonight. I'm hoping Dak Prescott has a big night for me. Also Williams, because I got both of them in the Real Fans Real Talk Fantasy Football League. So I'm hoping they go off tonight. But even if I didn't have them on my team, I'd still be picking Dallas to win this game.
Yeah. We picked this game on Wednesday. We all had Dallas. At the time, the line was 2.5. It's up to 3.5. I still like the line. Cowboys offense will return this week. I know last week they had a little bit of a hiccup, but that's because they were playing the Broncos, one of the better defenses in the league. This week they're playing the Cardinals, who are not a good defense. Kyler Murray's not playing, so you're still relying on Jacoby Brissett. I don't think the Cardinals could win this game, but with Dallas's defense, it might be interesting. It might turn into a shootout, but I still like Dallas. They're fully healthy on offense. We know those receivers will look good. We know Dak has looked good. And for their defense, it's a little bit of a break because they don't have to worry about Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Mahomes Chiefs offense struggling. Sunday's loss to Bills. Yeah, they did. But I'm not gonna take too much from it because these are two football teams that know each other very well. They've played each other a lot over the past couple of years, even though they're not in the same division. They've still wind up playing each other twice a year, regular season and the playoffs. So, obviously Bills win. They did what they were supposed to do, but I'm not going to take too much, put too much into that.
You can't put too much into it. You got to remember these two teams have played each other every season since 2018. So we're talking 7 straight years, and then at least we got 3, maybe 4 playoff appearances between the two. So you're talking at least 10 times over the last 7 years that these two teams have played each other. They know each other, and honestly, I wouldn't have taken anything one way or the other. If Buffalo would have lost, I wouldn't have put too much stock in it. If the Chiefs lost, I didn't, because again, you're talking about two teams that there's almost like when you play your mans and Madden all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all know each other's game plan so much. Yeah, it's somebody got to win, so the other person's probably going to struggle. I don't think it's much to make of it though.
Yeah, I think it's good for Buffalo, but 2 things. One, it's always hard to get that second win, and 2, you haven't had much success against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Right? They've never beat. Josh Allen has won a majority of their regular season matchups, and Patrick Mahomes has won every one of their playoff matchups. So that's why I say I don't put too much into the, their offense struggled. All right. I mean, Buffalo's a good team too, though. Let's not act like Buffalo hasn't been in multiple AFC championship games and they're not a Super Bowl contender. Their job is to make the Chiefs struggle a little bit, and they did that.
Exactly. I would almost feel more confident that the Bills could beat them in the playoffs this season if they lost this game. But it was a good game nonetheless. I got to watch that game in its entirety. And it's going to be exciting if they run into each other again in the playoffs. I'll say that.
Right. That's what you expect. These two teams know they're probably going to see each other again.
Mm-hmm. My main man, Ron, what's going on? He says Chase Brown after loss. Finish the effing game. We've just got to play complimentary football. I mean, listen. We know what we're going to get from the Cincinnati Bengals. They have one of the most potent offenses, and they have the worst defense, probably, in football. Maybe they may have the worst defense in football, because now this is the second time where you've let a team that realistically you should beat based off of the offensive production. And I'm speaking about this game, and I'm speaking about the Jets game. That was 2 games that they should have won, but the defense was horrible. And there's no way you telling me that Joe Flacco is throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and y'all lost that game. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Chase Brown has every right to say what he said after the game. The Bengals have scored 30-plus points in 3 straight games, yet somehow they've lost 2 of those 3 games. How do you lose a game when you score 38 points against the Jets? How do you lose a game that you score 42 points against the Chicago Bears? So he is absolutely right. There's also a clip of Jamar Chase walking to the locker room where he yells out, "One fucking stop." They're right. There isn't much more their offense can do. You're playing professional football and you're putting up 38 and 42 points in professional football, and somehow you don't win that game. They have every right to feel the way they feel. They're 3-6 right now. They're going to be in the same predicament they were in last year. We're going to get to those last 2-3 weeks of the season, Trip, and we're going to keep saying, man, I don't know if anybody wants the Bengals to get into the playoffs because their offense is so good. They can put a threat, into beating you in the playoffs. But the problem is they're going to dig themselves such a hole that they're going to have to win out now to have a chance to make the playoffs. And I think we got to give Joe Flacco his credit. Joe Flacco went there on short notice, and he has played well. Like you say, he's balled out. He's given them an opportunity to try to at least stay afloat until possibly getting Joe Burrow back in December. But when you lose these type of games, it don't matter whether you got Joe Burrow or anybody back there. You ain't gonna win because how much better can you play on offense?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Joe had the 2 interceptions, but it's like, yo, he threw for 400 and had 4 touchdowns. You can't tell me that your defense cannot get a single stop to not lose these games. And the crazy part about it is it's like, all right, Joe Burrow goes down, and you're like, all right, this, the other backup, whatever, he was trash. But Joe Flacco comes in and is putting you guys in position to stay in playoff contention. He's doing damn near what Joe Burrow would be doing
right
if he was on the field himself. So you guys should be in contention with Pittsburgh right now, but instead, you just lost another game that you should have won. And now you just gave Baltimore another shot to get back in this thing and get the division because they're getting better while you guys are getting worse.
Yeah, the hope of the Bengals winning the division is done. I don't think they got a shot. Like I said, they would have to win out the rest of the way. For the Bengals, obviously they'll try to take solace in saying, "Hey, we got a couple of division games left," but you scored 80 points in 2 weeks in the NFL and you didn't win any one of those games, it's going to be a tough season the rest of the way.
Yeah. Shout out to Will. He says the lack of attention or urgency paid to the Bengals defense is professional negligence. As far as the front office goes, light a match, blow the goodness. But yes.
Right.
Yeah, and they have been bad for a while now. And like this might be the worst they've been.
So the irony in all this with the Bengals, right, is remember they went to the Super Bowl. What was that, 4 seasons ago when they lost to the Rams? The defense was passable at that time. They had some injuries. Then they never replenished defensively. Like at that time, they had some young guys on defense. They had Jesse Bates, the safety, who went to a Pro Bowl when they signed with the Falcons. They had a couple young guys, but they never kind of replenished. They just kept building up and paying the offense. Then they let go of Lou Anarumo, who's now the Colts defensive coordinator. They try to place the blame on him. He's actually worked a little bit of magic with the Colts defense. In return, the Bengals defense has given up 300 points already this season. Nobody else is even close. They've given up 50 more points than the next closest team. So nobody, and as much as we talk about the Cowboys and how bad their defense is, the Bengals defense is way worse. It's not even close, bro. So the Bengals, this is like Will said, this is on the front office. You fired the defensive coordinator, you're still having the same issues you had last year. So it's not about the defensive coordinator. Trey Hendrickson might be the only passable defensive player that's on that team because the secondary can't stop anybody. And aside from Trey Hendrickson, nobody else gets pressure on the quarterback. There's no reason, bro, that you're giving up leads the way they give them up. Like, this is easy. It's almost like teams like, oh, it's cool. It's the Bengals. We're going to go down the field. We know we're going to drop 30 plus today. It's disgusting at this point.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. So let me see what we got. Oh, yes. Another one. College basketball is back tonight. Who are your usual college teams you root for? I like Duke and Michigan. Y'all should already know it's Blue Devils all the way for Trip.
Yeah, I don't have a particular team I root for. I pay attention to just prospects. I don't want to butcher his name, but the young man from BYU who's projected to be a top 3 pick this year, I'll be paying attention to him. I'll be watching Duke because you got
was that him? The Benster, whatever.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I say. I didn't want to mess up homie name.
I got it on my franchise in 2 caps. Like I drafted him after So
yeah, and I'll be paying attention to Duke because you got Boozer down there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's another team. Like I said, I mainly pay attention to the prospects and try to catch the prospects when they play. Yeah. Oh, and Cayenne. I'll be watching Syracuse to watch Cayenne play.
Actually, I haven't got a chance to see him play, so I wanted to check him out. All right. Shout out to Squeezy. He says Jaden Daniels injury. Should Jaden have been removed from the game pre-injury? Well,
yes.
Crazy thing is like Washington has a history of this kind of thing with their
Yes.
young quarterbacks. Um, uh, so yes, he should have
This
been.
is this
But
is this isn't even debatable. They
yeah,
were down. They were down. What was it? 35-7 with 8 minutes to go. You weren't
yeah,
coming back.
yeah. Come on, this ain't Madden, and even in Madden, that would have
You,
been nearly impossible.
I mean, it only works in Madden if you think you can get some stops or do something crazy. They couldn't get a stop. At one point, Sam Darnold had completed
Yeah,
every pass he had thrown. They couldn't get a stop. So once you get to that point, to me, I think once you got to the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter, if we're not within 2 scores, 3 scores at the most with 10 minutes to go, we're not going to get enough possessions. So what are we
yeah,
running Jaden Daniels out there for? Especially knowing all we're going to do is throw the ball now. So now we're giving the defense opportunity to get unnecessary hits on our quarterback.
yeah,
So it was bad all the way around from Dan Quinn. Then for him to come out and say, "Oh, I should have took him out the game." I mean, you think?
yeah. That was crazy. But again, doesn't
So,
surprise me because they have a history of this. That
but I
organization,
don't. The name of the organization, but this group. Remember, this is a new ownership group that happened under Dan Snyder and Mike Shanahan.
that is true. So they
So
carry the
so
tradition.
right, it's not even the same ownership group. It's not the same front office. Nothing's the
Yeah, if
same.
I'm
It's
dropping the
crazy.
ball like this,
It's ironic how these things work out that way for the organization. But Dan Quinn, you gotta know better at that point. Sometimes you're better off just taking a loss. Especially this team has dealt with so many injuries. Jaden Daniels was out early this year. Terry McLaurin didn't play yesterday because he's still dealing with injuries. Debo's been in and out of the lineup. They're down to the third string running back at this point. Like, why would you even play around with that opportunity if your quarterback getting hurt? And it happened.
well, good luck. We was talking about a couple of weeks ago. They was a team that was going to compete with the Eagles again, and
That's
now,
what they thought, but
yeah, is the Packers offense cooked? The Packers are cooked. Period. This is another embarrassing
yeah,
loss,
they had two of the worst losses this season.
and then you throw the tie in there too. It's just like, yo, what are you doing? This is you. You are another team that people are talking about. That people had you in the AFC in the NFC Championship game, and you keep losing these kind of games. You're
Yeah.
gonna need a home game in the playoffs. Okay, now if you even make the playoffs, because you know how the NFC can be. Anything goes when you don't win your division. So I don't know what's going on with the Packers.
They'll make the playoffs. I think they're too good to miss the playoffs. But one of the things we got to keep in mind when we get to the playoffs and we talk about Super Bowl contenders, I'm ready to say the Packers are not a Super Bowl contender. They've lost games this year, like I said, where their offense has almost been non-existent. Their offense didn't show up when they needed to, and this is becoming a common theme with them too often. There's too much talent on that team. There's too many big names on that team. But you're telling me when you lose to the Carolina Panthers 16-13, when you lose to the Browns 13-10, when you have a tie with the Cowboys and the Cowboys put up 40 points on you, those are the type of losses that I think, and those are the type of games that I think we gotta kind of reserve and circle back to come playoff time. Because when they play better competition, I think we got to look at them and say, yo, you've shown us who you are. So let's not get fooled by the record. They're probably going to win 10 games, maybe even 11 games. And at some point, we're going to fall in love with them again. And we're going to be like, hey, Jordan Love is one of the elite quarterbacks. Can he go on a playoff run? Remember, a couple of years ago, they had a couple of good playoff wins and they made it to the NFC Championship with Jordan Love. But I'm going to bookmark those 3 games I just talked about because that's going to remind me that, you know what? You tend to kind of fade at times. You're losing. You're scoring 13 points against the Panthers. The Patriots just dropped the 40 piece on them last week. You're losing to the Browns. Have the Browns beat anybody else? And you tied with the Cowboys, who we just said might have the second worst defense in football. Those are the things we got to bookmark that trip.
Absolutely. Let me throw Will's comment up here. It's about Jaden. He said, I said before to have to pull JD5. Dan Campbell is a ish coach. People, he's the DC that gave up 27-3 in the Super Bowl versus Brady. Washington is gonna Washington.
He was the head coach in Atlanta when that happened.
Yeah. Nardo says, what did the Bills prove? Nothing, that they can run a regular season game against the
Yeah, I
Chiefs.
mean,
We
let's not
already
act
knew.
like they've beaten the Chiefs several times in the regular season.
Yeah.
I don't think this was a prove it type moment. I think this was just two Super Bowl contenders in a tough regular season game. I don't. Again, if it was a team that had never done anything, like that had never been in the playoffs and they didn't have any quality wins, maybe. But you're talking about the Bills start the season, I believe, had the best odds to come out of the AFC, according to Vegas. The Bills have played in a couple AFC championship games. They've beaten the Chiefs several times in the regular season. There's nothing for them to prove in this game. And like we said earlier, I don't think even if the roles were reversed and the Chiefs would have won, I wouldn't have overreacted to that win either. These are two really good teams.
Nardo says Ja Moran was suspended one game. What's the deal with Ja? He had it. All the people / hood loves him. His shoes sell, but he just seems undisciplined. Well, you know what, Eric? I'm gonna let you take this one because you've been trying to tell the people that this relationship was over, for at least 2 years now.
Yeah.
So you go ahead, Eric. You handle this.
I'm a firm believer when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. The Memphis Grizzlies have been showing us for the past year and a half at least that they're moving in a different direction. They had some success, but when Ja started to kind of go sideways, we know he had the gun issue. He had some other things going on. They moved on from Tyler Jenkins. They stopped trying to bring in quality veterans for that locker room. If you look, that team is completely different. There was a time when they had guys like Steven Adams there. They tried to bring Marcus Smart there. They tried to bring some veterans in it to even out and balance out the locker room. They've even stopped doing that. But they fired Taylor Jenkins last year, right before the end of the regular season. They traded Desmond Bain this offseason, who most people felt like he was the second best offensive player. Jaren Jackson, I like Jaren Jackson a lot, but a lot of people felt that Desmond Bain, because of his shooting, because of his ability to create, was probably their second best offensive player. They moved on from him. I think they're going to move on from Ja. Jaren Jackson got his contract extension already, so the organization is already showing that that's who they want to move forward with.
Mm-hmm.
Ja getting suspended, Ja making the comments he's making, Ja not getting along with this new coaching staff. Guess what, people? The coaching staff just came in, so they're not getting fired. So the obvious move is Ja Morant, and it's probably going to be to Brooklyn. Brooklyn got a bunch of cap space and draft picks that they can move to make this happen. Brooklyn is desperate to bring in a face of the franchise. We know they made the move from Michael Porter Jr., but he's not a franchise guy. He's just a quality piece to have. I think Ja Morant to Brooklyn is happening this year, Trip.
Well, first of all, I would love that to happen because, it probably won't happen until close to the trade deadline. But
yeah, they'll wait a little bit. I don't think it'll happen just yet. I think they'll try to wait till it gets closer to Christmas time.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my ticket,
get a ticket now for January or February. Get a ticket now.
Because when they make the trade, they're going to try to up the ante on us. So I'm going to get my tickets now to be ready. I'm going to talk to the guys over there, let them know, hold that down for me. And then, once they make that move, then it's like, all right, we're going there. And honestly, I think New York will be good for Ja. Because
I hope. I
don't think the Knicks would be good for Ja. I think the Nets would be good for Ja, just because I feel like the culture will support him here. You know what I'm saying? So I think just because of that, I think and it won't be as much pressure on him coming to the Nets. Like if they were trying to trade him to the Knicks, I don't think it would work, just because of the history and whatnot. But to go to the Nets, where it's like they're already rebuilding anyway, so it's basically you're starting from scratch with them. You know what I'm saying? Between you and Michael Porter and whatever else they do moving forward. So I actually do like that a lot. For Ja Morant to come to the Nets.
I think off the court, it would be beautiful for Ja. It's a city that'll embrace him, his style. You know what I'm saying? It fits with New York. The Knicks aren't even an option. The Knicks are in a different space right now with what they're trying to do with their team. So you wouldn't make a move for Ja. We know that. But my concern with Ja and Brooklyn is they got a rookie head coach in Jordi Fernandez there. I'm not even familiar with what Jordi Fernandez did before he got that job. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know what he did before that. I don't know what type of relationships he got in the NBA. But what I do know is he's a young rookie head coach.
I ain't going
to. I'm keeping it a buck. I have no idea what his resume was before he took that job. But my concern would be Ja comes in and Ja, the personality, is so big that it kind of overshadows what the head coach is trying to do. Because let's be real, Jordy Fernandez ain't never accomplished nothing in the NBA. Ja Morant is a bona fide all-star. So immediately what starts to happen is you divide the locker room. You got the younger players who are going to gravitate towards Ja. And if Ja is not fully bought in, if he's not willing to say, hey, this is my coach and this is who I'm riding with, the young guys are going to follow Ja. And I use that analogy because we as the Knicks, we experienced that. When we got Stephon Marbury and he came to the Knicks, you look at our rosters, the roster wasn't bad. The problem was that Steph did not respect the coaching staff. He didn't respect when Isaiah was there. He damn sure didn't respect when D'Antoni was there. So it split the locker room. And it split it in a way because guys looked at Steph and was like, yo, Steph is an all-star. Steph is the man. He's the face of the team. Why wouldn't I follow Steph's lead? And then you got a coaching staff who's like, no, we need to do it this way. And the players are like, no, but I'm following Steph. And so that's the same thing that can happen with Ja Morant. You go there, you're a head coach who doesn't have the resume to demand the respect yet. And if Ja does not buy in, if Ja comes in and says, look, I'm doing it my way and I don't really respect what you got going on, that shit gonna go left.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he buys in.
They're gonna make me look up Jordy Fernandez now. I gotta look up what he's actually done, man.
Yeah. Hopefully he does buy in and really uses this as a fresh start. Because New York is definitely going to embrace him if he comes in because we're fans of Ja Morant. So we're going to embrace him.
I think the city will love him.
That's what I'm saying. So I hope he buys in because this is actually could be a really good opportunity for him because the Nets are really bad right now, even though he'll make them a little bit better, but he's not going to turn them into a playoff team right away. And they have a lot of draft picks. They have their own draft pick next year as well. So if they can mess around and get a top draft pick, a top 3 draft pick, and get the best big man in this draft to go with him and Michael Porter, they could, really make a move. Because they got a lot of draft picks, and they actually the guys that they got. There's a couple of guys they drafted that are, pretty good.
Yeah, but in the NBA, we know, Trip. You gotta have, first and foremost, you gotta have the guy. Whoever that guy is, you gotta have that, and then you build around that. Can Ja be that? Absolutely. There's nobody in here who's questioning if Ja is nice, if Ja can hoop. I think everybody in the comment section, we know that. The real question is, will he be willing to buy in? Do you have a head coach who is a strong enough personality to handle that? Because like you said, Ja, the moment he touched down in Brooklyn, Ja Morant becomes super popular. He's the face of the franchise, and people are going to gravitate towards him. And for the first 2 months, he could do no wrong. He could do no wrong in New York for the first 2 months because people are going to know the team ain't that good, but we have Ja Morant. Can Ja Morant buy in? Whether it's Jordy Fernandez, whether it's another head coach, will Ja say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this a winner? Because you could draft as many people as you want. You could go get as many people. If Ja's the guy, if he's the guy, he got to buy in.
That's what I'm saying. I'm speaking if he buys in. With, the draft picks that they have moving forward, if he buys in, this could be a very beautiful situation for him. And I'm not saying championship, but I just think he would have a lot of success here if he buys in because of what New York represents as a whole, basketball and outside of basketball.
Yep.
So hopefully he does, because that'll be good. Ron says the Thunder still doing their thing, 7-0. Is Jaden Williams back yet?
Jaden Williams has not played.
And they 7-0. Oh, listen. And this doesn't surprise me because they are the best team in basketball. They are just coming off of winning a championship. But more importantly, this is the youngest team. Well, maybe the Spurs might be younger now, but now that Chris Paul isn't there anymore. But this is this is probably like one of the 3 youngest teams in basketball. They have fresh legs. It's not a team with a bunch of veterans trying, that's saving it for the playoffs, that they know what this is. This is a team that is equipped to run right now and play at 100% from start to finish of the season because everybody's young.
Yeah, I mean the Thunder have done a tremendous job of building this team, and I think we got to give Sam Presti a lot of credit. They got a kid. I believe he was a second round pick. I got to double check. The Knicks had actually drafted him, but the Knicks had sent them to OKC. Like I said, it was like an early second round pick, and the Knicks knew they weren't going to do much with him. They weren't going to develop him. He spent all of last year pretty much with the G League team. He got no minutes, I believe. And I could double check, but I know for a fact he didn't play in the playoffs. And I think throughout the regular season, they kept him in the G League. They got this kid, AJ Mitchell, off their bench trip, who's averaging 17 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about good organizations and development, that's a prime example where we have so much talent, we're not even going to rush to play you yet. But we see something in you, and we're just going to continue to develop you. And now they got no Jalen Williams, so you got the spot open, right? You give the kid a shot off the bench. He's averaging about 25 minutes a night off the bench, but he's giving you 17 points.
It's not
So,
bad.
I mean, that's amazing. You're talking about a young man who's taking advantage of his opportunity, and then also an organization who learned and knows how to develop and scout. I think with the Oklahoma City, I mean, we talked about it plenty of times because I've been talking about the Thunder, and I love the Thunder. But those are the things that make them a championship caliber team. 7-0 on the surface, Ron, no disrespect to it, that sounds great. But when people really deep dive, like, yo, how are they able to be so good? Yeah, you have Shea, you have Jay Williams, you got Caruso, you got Dort, you got Hartenstein, obviously you got Chet. But then it's the ability to develop these guys. You look at Isaiah Joe. I think yesterday Isaiah Joe had 11 points off the bench. Carson Wallace, who's starting in place of Jalen Williams, is knocking down threes. You know what I'm saying? Now you're talking about this other kid, AJ Mitchell, giving him 17 points. Like, where does it stop, bro? Like, there's so much talent there. They can keep this train rolling for quite some time. So unless somebody figures out a way to slow this thing down, pause, it could get crazy out west.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good for basketball.
Oh, it's great for basketball.
All right, Eric, you ready for this? They started. All right. How does LeBron James fit back in?
Where's my drink? I should have poured a drink before we started.
This is not me, Eric. This is not you. I'm just telling you what's going on in the comments, and we have to get to all of the comments. All right. Just saying. How does LeBron James fit back in with the Lakers? I'm serious because he has an ego too. I don't know.
I love this question. But go ahead, Joe. I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm just gonna say we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I the good thing is they're actually playing really good basketball right now, and I'm sure they surprised a lot of people with how they started this season off. Especially with LeBron not being there. But we do also have to realize that Luka is there. And Luka led a team to the finals 2 years ago as the best player, on the team. So, and that was, was Kyrie there? Was Kyrie there yet when they went to the finals in Clay? Right. So you have, what I'm saying? So this team with Luka, who knows? He took that team. He could take this team too to a final. So I'm not surprised. But as far as LeBron goes, I mean, at this point, I think LeBron probably trying to stay out the way. So I don't know. Like he probably wants to stay below the radar just because of all the stuff that's going on outside of basketball with this whole gambling thing and now Maverick Carter and so I think he might want to fly under the radar for a little while. So he might actually just fit, come back and join him, and everything just works out, perfectly. Just so we don't got to talk about nothing else.
I love this question because I think if Braun does buy in, it could elevate their ceiling. Now, I'm not willing to say they're better than the top 3 teams in the West, but I just think if LeBron is willing to really buy in and take more of a hands-off approach with this team, it could elevate because we're seeing the growth of Austin Reeves, right? Mm-hmm. So you could have a situation where Luka as your leader with quality minutes for Reeves and LeBron kind of playing as his sidekicks. as you mentioned, Luka's taken less talent to a finals, right? So you could do something there. They still need, I think they still need another big, but I think it can make it work. But the reason I find it so interesting is LeBron has never been in this position in his career. And before the season, we knew it was going to be a different type of year for LeBron. He was going to have to be willing to take a backseat to Luka. It was one of the questions we got right before the season started. It was one of the questions where people wanted to know, would he be willing to kind of take a step back and let Luka lead the team? But now with the emergence of Reeves, LeBron's best role now might be as the third guy on his team.
Mm-hmm.
His role might be to preserve his energy and kind of let them do the heavy lifting. And then when time requires it, fourth quarter, Bron, we need you to kind of elevate your game a little bit. I also think it's very interesting too, because a similar situation happened to Melo, not on the same level, but a similar situation. When Linsanity hit the Knicks, it was at a point when Melo was kind of like, people were wondering, does Melo need more help? Does he need to facilitate? What can Melo do to elevate his game? Then Linsanity hit, and then people felt like, all right, well, Melo has the sidekick he needs now. Is Melo willing to defer to the sidekick? Melo was never willing to defer to Jeremy Lin. I don't knock Melo for it. I understand the sacrifice Melo made coming to New York. And at that time, Melo was still prime Melo. So he probably felt like I shouldn't have to sacrifice for Jeremy Lin. It should be the other way around. But a lot of people around the Knicks felt at the time that if Melo was at least willing to sacrifice a little bit for Lin, that relationship could have flourished, and maybe Melo would have got the sidekick that he needed earlier. Again, hindsight's 2020. I kind of feel that that's what's happening with Bron right now. Austin Reeves has the people's heart, bro. The people are gravitating towards Austin Reeves because they feel like he's taking advantage of his opportunity. Is LeBron going to come in and bully his way in and be like, no, it's me and Luka and you got to figure it out? Or is LeBron going to come in and say, I'm willing to ease my way in, pause. Go ahead, Austin, do your thing. Keep thriving, keep elevating your game. But fourth quarter, 6 minutes left, LeBron will do whatever I can to try to win these games. And if he does that, again, he can elevate their ceiling. He can make them a perennial championship contender if he's willing to play the role of number 3. And our comment section, our supporters, we've talked about that before. If LeBron is willing to take a back seat, we know Luka's the number 1. If LeBron is willing to do that for Austin Reeves as well, I think it could be very beneficial for the Lakers.
Yeah, so I think this was LeBron being injured to start the season is actually the best thing that could have happened to the Lakers for pretty much what you said, but also because LeBron is such a smart basketball player and he's able to watch right now and see what is working for them. And then now he can come in and really see how he can best do, put himself in position to, like you said, make himself the 3 to push Luka and Austin and Reeves, and then he'll come in and take over the games. He'll come in the playoffs and take over when need be. So I think it can work. The other thing too is we are seeing the emergence of Jake LaRavia, and I hope that he keeps this up, because if he keeps this up, now you have a legitimate 6-man coming off the bench with Jake LaRavia, who can score points. He can hit the 3. He plays defense. He's 6'7", I believe. He's athletic. Like, what I'm saying? And I want to, DeAndre Ayton is actually playing solid basketball right now for them. I'd like to see him get up to a double-double. He's at like 14 and 8 right now. I'd like to see him get it up to 14 and 10. But, Luka does take a lot of those rebounds. And then when Bron comes back, I'm sure he's going to be taking some of those rebounds too. But he has played, good enough for them to actually contend. And we haven't seen him with Bron on the floor yet either.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to have to adjust. And we know that. It's not just about LeBron adjusting to them. They got to adjust because, again, LeBron still got to have some type of impact on this offense. I'm not too sure. Jake LaRavia, that it sounds good. I don't know how the minutes are going to change once Bron comes back.
Yeah.
Because when Bron comes back, I think there's a real possibility, that Bron might have to play at the 4 for this team. And so when Braun is at the 4, then you're going to have a lot more of DeAndre Ayton next to him, maybe LaRavia, but it won't be the same amount of minutes. So I don't know if he got the same impact. Ultimately, though, for this team to elevate, Braun, I think, should look at this situation. And that's not a knock on who LeBron is, because he had a good year last year. But this is probably a prime situation where I could truly fade a little bit. Even though I might be the second best player on this team, I should actually move like I'm the third best player on this team and let them do the heavy lifting. Let Luka and Austin Reeves do the heavy lifting. And when it's necessary, then I can turn it into that extra gear. I can shift into that extra gear to help us win games. But early on, let Austin Reeves get his rhythm. Let him go. Let him do his thing and keep growing off what he's been doing. And maybe he can elevate who we are as a team.
Yeah, you know, Will had to come up here and throw his nonsense in.
I mean, it's not nonsense, because some of the things that Will's talking about are true, right? He will take away from the flow if he tries to force his way in. If LeBron comes on the court and be like, yo, now I need my ISOs, I need my touches, yeah, then it's going to take away from the flow. But if he comes in and says, look, I'm willing to pick and roll. I'm willing to play off ball a little bit more. I'm willing to do some of the other stuff early in the game. I'm not saying that LeBron can't be the closer. Him and Luka could still be your closers. Last 6 minutes of the game, JJ Redick could still draw plays for Luka and LeBron. But the first 42 minutes of the game, I think you should let Austin Reeves go. Let him keep building off what he's been building off of. Because Austin Reeves has not only been scoring, he's been playmaking. So let him keep doing that.
Yeah, he's definitely been doing a great job. Shout out to, you know, that 50-point game he had the other night. He's been
doing a great run. And they're 5-2. They get Portland tonight. They got a chance to win tonight and go 6-2. It's a great start. Keep building.
Kyrie says, where does this World Series rank all time to you? I mean, that's a difficult question to say where's it rank all time. I could tell you right now, I don't care where you rank it, but for me, it's not going to be ranked before any of the 5 World Series championships that I watched the Yankees win. Oh, excuse me, 6 that I watched the Yankees win. I ain't gonna put it ahead of none of those. So you know what I mean? Like after that,
why wouldn't you put it? So you're telling me this? He's saying the series, not the team itself. The series as a whole isn't better than any of the Yankee World Series that they won.
No, he said to you all. To me, no.
Yeah. So you don't think the series as a whole was better than some of the Yankee world, not the actual Yankees winning, just a series?
I don't care about that. I don't personally.
I don't know what you're ranking, bro.
It's my personal opinion. I'm just saying I don't rank nobody. If you just want my personal opinion, if you want me to say yes, as far as if this was a classic World Series, then I got to really go back and watch. But I'm just saying as my personal opinion, I don't care who it is. I'm not going to rank nobody's ahead of the anytime the Yankees win a World Series that I've seen with my own eyes. That's all I'm saying. I'm telling you, I'm being biased.
The best,
because I don't care.
The best World Series I've ever seen. So I'm gonna go off that. The best World Series I've ever seen was the 2000 World Series when the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Yankees, and it wasn't because they beat the Yankees. The series as a whole is a classic. If you look back. First of all, the climate of the country, because that was the World Series after 9/11. Mm-hmm. That's when Jeter gets phrased. He gets the name for years. Reggie Jackson was Mr. October, but because of 9/11, the playoffs started later. So the World Series was actually in November. Jeter hits the walk-off home run off the closer to tie the series, and that's when he gets the phrase Mr. November, because it was after midnight when he hits the home run. So it was officially November 1st. Yeah. But if you look at that series, the Yankees lose the first 2 games. They come home. They were down 2-1 going into Game 4. And Game 4 and Game 5, they hit home runs off the closer to win the game. Then send it back to Arizona, where they had to face Schilling and Randy Johnson. And then Game 7 is the classic. Joe Torre kind of mismanaged Game 7 too. Even in the moment I said it, but even looking back on it, Tony Womack gets a BS hit off Mariano Rivera, one of the greatest. Mariano is the greatest closer of all time. But in that moment, Mariano, the 2 things I hated for Mariano's legacy, and I'm not even a Yankee fan. He should have struck out Tony Womack. He kept letting Tony Womack foul off pitches. He should have just threw him the cutter up and in. It would have broke his bat. It would have ended that bat. But he kept letting him foul off pitches. Tony Womack gets to double down the line. Then there's the bunt that Mariano throws in the center field. If they get that out at second base, they probably get out of the inning. and then it leads to the Luis Gonzalez, the little flare base hit that he hits. That if Torrey leaves the defense playing in regular position, it probably would have just got caught on the back of the infield. But because the infield was in, but to me, the reason it was the greatest World Series because of all the comebacks. If you look back at that series, I think they had 4 ninth-inning comebacks in that series, 2 by the Yankees, 2 by the Diamondbacks. It went 7 games, and it was also the climate of the country. Again, it was the World Series right after 9/11. So to have the Yankees in there trying to defend their championship, because the Yankees actually would have went 3 in a row. You guys won in 99 and 2000. So 2001 would have gave y'all 3 straight. So when you look at their history, the climate of the country, and then how good the series was, for me, 2001 Arizona beating the Yankees is the greatest World Series. In terms of this World Series, I can only think of a couple that are better than this, Trip. I think when the Yankees beat Atlanta for their first World Series is a great World Series. That's the one that's highlighted by Jim Leyritz hitting a home run when y'all were down 2-0 in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Charlie Hayes catches the last out. That was a very important World Series because the Yankees had not won in over 20-something years. And the Braves at that time were a dynasty. And you guys beat the Braves in the World Series. That one's better than this one. I think when Joe Carter hits the home run off Mitch Williams off the Phillies in 93 was probably better than this. But other than that, I don't think there's any. I think there's a top 5 World Series. Like I mentioned, we had 2 extra inning games. We had 1 game that got played into 3 in the fucking morning. Vlad put on a historic performance. Ohtani, it will always be highlighted that Ohtani had that 2-homer game. Ohtani was intentionally walked 6 times in a game, bro. That's Barry Bonds treatment right there. And like I said, the back and forth, because the Dodgers were the juggernaut. The Dodgers were trying to go back to back, and the Dodgers now have won 3 World Series in the last 5 years. You had Toronto, who came out of nowhere. Toronto was a last place team last year, so nobody even expected them to be in the playoffs, let alone make the World Series. So that's why to me, I put this as a top 5 all time. But the other 3 I mentioned, Arizona beating the Yankees beating the Braves the first time, and Toronto beating Mitch Williams and the Phillies in 93 to go back to back. Those to me are the top 3 World Series of all time.
Wait, where would you put Yankees Mets?
Yankees Mets 2000. It was good, but it wasn't. First of all, it was only a 5-game series. All the other series I talked about at least went 6. The Subway Series I think was cool for us and cool for New York, but in terms of like I guess the intensity of the World Series, it wasn't that great. I think the Yankees, when y'all beat Philly, remember when Philly was trying to go back to back? That was the team that had CeCe Sabathia, Mark Teixeira, A-Rod wins his first World Series. That was a good World Series too. Yeah. That was a real good one because Philly was trying to go back to back, and you guys had a couple comebacks in that one. But I think that also was only a 5-game series. To me, I think that the ones that have gone 6 or 7, like I mentioned, are just greater because the level of intensity goes up.
Yeah. Got you. Kyrie says top 5 in-game dunkers in NBA history to both of you. I got Vince, Kemp, Jordan, Doc, and Dominique Wilkins. I will take Vince as the number 1 in-game dunker of all time. Now I think no debating for me. Vince is number 1 clearly. Number 2, kind of want to put. 2 through 5 is not going to be in no order. I'm just going to put the other 4 names, but I kind of want to put Josh Smith in there because he was a really good in-game dunker. Like he threw it on a lot of cats. So I'm going to put Josh Smith in there. I'm gonna throw Blake Griffin in there. Got to throw Blake Griffin in there because I say
Blake got to definitely be
booming on a lot of cats. So I got to throw Blake Griffin in there. So that's 3. I'm gonna throw Braun in there. That's 4. And I'm gonna throw MJ in there as 5.
I know you didn't just throw fucking Braun in there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Those people he done dunked on. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta throw him in there. Just off the Jason Terry dunk alone.
Shout out Kyrie. I feel like we had this conversation before, but I think everybody you mentioned is great. I think one of the best in-game dunkers, we can't forget, Gerald Green is one of the best in-game dunkers ever. Who else? Who else is just nasty? Blake, like you said, I think Blake has to be in there.
Yeah, we'll say
Oh,
Griffin's dunk.
yeah, Blake. That's what I'm saying. Blake has to be in there.
First of all, Braun dunked on Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett like crazy. So let's not do that.
If we're gonna throw Braun in there because of the dunk on Jason Terry, then why isn't DeAndre Jordan in there for the dunk that he had on what was it on what was homie that he dunked it on? Remember something crazy, homie from Milwaukee.
Yes, I remember the dunk, but that's only really like I don't know, like 5 times DeAndre Jordan did dunked on somebody.
DeAndre Jordan, that Lob City era, like that's when Sports Center top 10 meant something, and they was getting Sports Center top 10s every night.
It's that for me, it's that Blake is next to him, so it's like
they both was nasty.
They both was, but he wasn't Blake, and since Blake is right next to him, for me it kind of takes it away from like putting DeAndre Jordan there. But again, but LeBron's not only because of the Jason Terry thing, but I'm saying, but LeBron has thrown it on. Like,
I mean, but a lot. I mean, listen, you're entitled to your opinion. I think a lot of guys have. I saw Will mention J.R. Smith. I like J.R. Smith as well. J.R. Smith got one of the best dunks I've ever seen in the Garden. We caught the alley-oop and reversed it. I know we missing a bunch of people.
So and then here's the other thing too, right? It's not just about the wide open dunks in the game. Like I'm basing this off of too. Like, yo, when you throwing it on cats in there, like who's booming? Like,
because but we can include Ja in there. Ja got some nasty.
I would throw Ja in there too, but we only got 5 picks.
That's what I'm saying. We had first of all we had this. I know for a fact we had this convo before. So yeah. I can't think of everybody we've thrown in there, but I would say everybody that Kyrie mentioned.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we got to throw Russ in there.
Derrick Rose, I can throw him in there too.
What D Rose did to that dunk that D Rose, I believe, caught on Dragic, is still one of the all-time best dunks.
That's what I'm saying. We could throw T-Mac in there. We could throw Steve Francis in there. Like, there's a lot of guys. You remember the dunk that T-Mac did in the All-Star game when he ran down the court, threw it off the backboard to himself and yammed it? Like, there's a lot of guys you could throw in the 5. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we want to keep going, like Jason Richardson, you could throw in the conversation.
Jason Richardson was another good one.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many.
Somebody put a. This would be a good debate. Somebody put together a highlight clip the other day of like Jason Kidd with the Nets. I forgot how many dunks like Kenyon Martin and Vince and Richard Jefferson were catching from Kidd. Because there's one where he damn near throws it from half court and Vince catches that joint and then reverses midair with it. And then there's another one where I gotta send you the clip because I'm looking back and I'm like, yo, I forgot how nasty. Like the Nets were Lob City before Lob City. Because there was a couple joints where Kidd already breaks down 2 defenders, gets in the lane, and it looks like it's gonna be a layup, and the guy goes to contest the layup, and the Kidd is throwing it over his head, and Kenyon Martin's coming out of nowhere, just dunking with 2 hands. Like they was doing some real video game type ish on the Nets. They might have been Lob City before Lob City. That might be the debate we gotta
have. And Will, you keep trying to say guys is better than LeBron. First of all, I said I didn't watch a lot of Dominique Wilkins games. I'm not that old, I guess. So I didn't watch a lot of Dominique Wilkins games. So he's not gonna be in my 5. That's if he's in your 5, he in your 5, but he ain't gonna be in mine. I ain't watching like that. Let me see. Where we at with that's it in the comments. All right, let me go to this last. Let me go to
I think we got. Is that it? I know we got the one from Monty that she wants to say for the end. Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna get to this.
That's a good one too. What Will said, this is a good one. This World Series one. This was a good World Series.
Nationals and 2019. Oh, you know what? That actually was a really good World Series.
That is a very good series. And the crazy part is no home team won a game. All games were won on the road. So it went 7 and Nationals won all 4 of those games in Houston.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
That was I forgot about that's a really good one. Max Scherzer, I should have remembered because I was talking about this the other day because Scherzer was starting game 7 for Toronto And the last Game 7 before the other night was 2019. So yeah, that was definitely a good one, Will.
Yeah. I mean, listen. There's a lot of the good World Series. Like I'd have to go back. Like it's not like because I watch basketball and football religiously and baseball. If the Yankees aren't in the World Series prior to us doing the show, I probably didn't watch it. I probably just caught the highlights. Basketball, I could tell you right now, I could rank the top 5 NBA finals over the past 20 years, let's just say, or the top 5 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Because I watch those religiously. So it is what it is. Oh, we had a couple of trades. The Eagles trying to get better out there. They brought over Jair Alexander from the Ravens and Carter from the Jets. They trying to revamp that whole secondary
They
because
brought
that's
in. They also brought in Jalen Phillips from Miami, the defensive end.
yes, that was the big move right
The
there.
Jalen Phillips move, I like that one a lot. I
yes,
like that.
because
Zaire Alexander, I don't know, because Zaire ain't played well with Baltimore in the
that's
couple
what I'm
games.
saying. That's why I wasn't mad when they sent the ball.
He wasn't. He hasn't really been the same. You know, his injuries have kind of slowed him down. I get that, but even when he played for Baltimore,
Yeah.
he wasn't really impactful.
That's what I'm saying. So, and he probably still better than what they got over there now. That secondary ain't been it.
Yeah, they struggled in the secondary. They're looking for help, but ultimately, if they get their pass rush right, it ain't gonna matter. They sit in so much zone coverage anyway. They sit in so much zone that it ain't gonna be that big of a deal if they don't get the secondary help. They just got to make sure that they get the pass rush going and stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Let me pull up Imani's comment here. Imani says, for end of the show, what rappers could hold their own versus Jay-Z in the verses? Because verses is 20 songs, right? But people say DMX, Kanye West, Future, and Lil Wayne all can hang with Jay. What y'all think? Okay, so the Brooklyn in me was going to make me say the same answer that Hov said when he spoke about it, and that's nobody. But if I'm being real, and I feel like who could do a versus with Jay-Z? All right, and I'll just go by the people that you got up here. For Wayne, no. And here's why. Not that Wayne doesn't have the records to compete with Jay, but because now it's turned into more of a performance, he can't mess with Jay. Nobody wants to see him drugged out up there, perked out, leaned out, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to see that. Now, had he went to the verses, the No Limit verses, and showed me something different, maybe I might feel differently. But the last couple of Wayne performance clips I saw did not look good. So, that was the other part of when people was mad at Kendrick got the Super Bowl and in New Orleans and not Wayne. And then when you start seeing all these performances, it's just like, yeah, no. They made the right choice. So he's out of there. Kanye, no. And Kanye has a lot of records, but I just feel like Jay was style on Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to see Kanye up there going crazy and going on rants mid versus. I don't know I don't know what's gonna happen. Kanye is too much of a wild card, so he's out of there. He's canceled out. Now DMX got the energy to take over any verses. However, if I'm basing this off of the verses that he was actually in with Snoop, when it was like my favorite two drunk uncles at the barbecue having the verses, I don't think that would be able to compete with Hove in a versus. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we're talking about prime DMX, that DMX, when he was doing the movies, you know what I'm saying, cut up and all that, that's a whole different story. But the DMX that and I'm saying this respectfully because I love DMX. Like DMX is one of my favorite rappers of all time, and I think he's one of the greatest rappers of all time. But I'm just basing this off of the verses that he did with Snoop that we saw, which I really loved. I enjoyed that with them not performing, but that was still like my two favorite drunk uncles at the barbecue. All right, so I'm gonna have to cancel X out. Future is interesting, but I just don't think so. I just don't think don't think he could do it. I'm sorry. Um, outside of that, like honestly, I really don't know because as much as I love Eminem and I feel like Eminem is top 5, I don't think he has the records that could go on a versus. Like you're not about to do this the Slim Shady. I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady at a versus battle versus Hove and think that's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know, and I don't think Nas has. You know what I'm saying? The catalog to really do it. I know Nas got a lot of records, but I don't know if he could do the 20 verse 20 with Hove and stand on up there and do it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's possible, but I just don't know.
There's only one person, and that's Kanye West. No disrespect to anybody else, because all these artists have great catalogs, but let's keep it a buck. What we know about the verses, right? First, like you said, you got to perform the record, which means these got to be records that people actually want to hear in a party environment. That's why that's why verses and Nas don't make sense, because Nas doesn't have those type of records for that environment. Now, if you want to just
artists, if you're doing like Nas and Rakim, maybe, but
yeah, but even still, like Nas, for as great as a lyricist and MC he is, that's not music you listen to when you're trying to turn up and have a party type environment. That's chill mode. Yeah, that's chill mode. That's like when you and the fellas are smoking and drinking, like, and you arguing about lyricists, and then it's like, yo, put that verse on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in a party environment, Trip, we've been going to parties for a long time. Nas ain't got records that get played in them environments. Let's keep it a buck, right? DMX is an interesting one, because if you're talking about prime DMX, yes, that could be a challenge for Hov. But you got to consider that if we're doing the verses now in this environment, most people don't know DMX records. They know a couple songs, but they don't know enough records to be interested. So I don't think DMX could go toe to toe with Hov in a verses. Future is not going to work. Future, I don't think Future's a good performer at all. The songs is cool, the songs is good, but it's not timeless music. It's joints that in a moment when you hear them, you like them. But if you try to put that up against Hov type shit, it's not going to work. And Wayne, same thing. I don't think Wayne got the records. What is Wayne going to perform? Mixtape shit?
Yeah, because Lollipop. I don't know.
Right, because
kind of like my
Wayne's
daddy.
A lot of Wayne's best verses and things that people love him for are mixtape joints.
Yeah.
You cannot compare not one Wayne album he's ever put out to any J album.
No.
So if we're talking 20 songs, I don't know if Wayne has 20 original songs. He got mixtape joints.
Yeah.
But he ain't got 20 songs. What they gonna play? They gonna play project shit?
That's what I'm saying. And they did that at the verses already.
Right. So he ain't got it.
That
now,
song
Kanye
solo, because that's, you know what I mean, you got the gang on that.
Kanye got the records to do it. Kanye would be the one, because when you're talking performance, when you're talking range, remember Kanye has all this different type of music that could be interesting. I still would pick Hov. Hov always my number one. But if we're gonna say who can go on a verse, it's Kanye, really. Nobody else either has the records or is gonna be able to perform in a way that's gonna outshine Hov. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. But see where Kanye is going to lose it at is that I get no, and you know what, and it obviously depends on where the verses would be at, actually, because if the verses is in certain places And once Hov he started doing like lyrical exercise or something like that, and the coach is going to turn into like a Jadakiss type of thing when he stole the streets.
Yeah, but the problem is Kanye got so many big records that you could go that route where it's like I'm gonna give y'all ill like verse right now, like a lyrical joint. But the timing of it better be perfect because you can't try to come out with like lyrical exercise after Kanye just dropped a major bang on. Like if Kanye get the crowd going, it's going crazy. That's why I say Kanye could do it. Kanye's the one dude I think could do it. Because Kanye, whether it's features or his own songs, Kanye got some of the biggest records in hip hop. He would be, and then performance-wise, he could match the performance with the music. A lot of them other cats, they might have some songs, but the performance ain't gonna match up. Standing on stage, they're already gonna be, the moment they get on stage with Jay, they're gonna be in his shadow. Kanye will be the one person that actually, he could outshine Jay in that type of moment.
Yeah. Let me see what Hoop Central says. Jay, I love him, but some people make him so untouchable. When it was times DMX and M was outselling him in his prime, but it's maybe 5 rappers that can hold their own. Remember, it's only 20 songs. Well, no, but okay, so here's the thing, right? Like people love to run to the sales argument, and it's just like, yo, there's so many guys that put out records that are better than guys that sell a lot of records. So you can't really go by the sales. And again, like I said, Eminem he don't make those enough of them songs for a verses like that. He gonna go with Hove to go 20. He a lot like it's a lot of his image very cartoonish. So in the verses, I don't know if all that's gonna work. Plus, like, all right, like and again, I'm a huge Eminem fan, right? But are you gonna do Sing for the Moment at a verses? But that's one of his biggest records. But that's not gonna, you know what I'm saying?
He is, though.
Huh?
No, he is. He got to do it because, first of all, bro, like let's keep it a buck. Sales are dictated by where your buzz is at the time. If we gonna sit here and be like, oh, Jay didn't outsell such and such during their era, okay. Y'all do know that Nelly and Chingy probably sold more records than Nas. That don't mean they better artists than Nas.
Yeah.
Like the sales is dictated by if you're hot in the moment and you get a nice buzz and you drop that project, you're gonna sell records at that era. Now it doesn't matter because streaming controls everything.
Yes,
but
definitely.
We love to run to the sales argument as if, again, like we don't know. A lot of people can be a flash in the pan. I'm not saying DMX and Eminem are flash in the pan, but you could be hot this summer and not be hot next summer. The fact that Jay is 30 years in since his rookie album, his first project, and his first project to this day is still considered one of the greatest musical works of art. Reasonable Doubt still gets debated as the greatest musical work of art, not just rap, musical work of art.
Yeah.
Should let you know everything you need to know. Jay-Z makes timeless music. So that's why when we say the verses, that's why I say it's so tough for anybody to stand there with Jay-Z. Because what Eminem did was cool. But if you're telling me if Jay-Z and Eminem on the stage together, and Eminem come out there, guess who's back? Back again. Niggas will be like, all right, we good, bro. We good.
Yeah.
Like, stop, bro. You do that, right? You do that, and Jay-Z just did Politics as Usual.
Yeah.
Where the crowd is vibing to something that's classic, and you do that, it's like, oh, all right, yeah, it's cool. I remember we liked it at the time, but as a grown man, I look back, I'm like, yeah, that was silly music.
You're gonna do Superman.
So that's what I'm saying. You can't. What M did was cool. It was great what M did. But we know for a fact M don't got 20 songs to get on those stage with Jay-Z.
Nah, it ain't going down like that.
I'm telling you, the only dude it would have to be a Kanye, because you would need somebody who has such a wide ranging catalog that when they get on stage, they can play so many different things that the crowd would gravitate to. There's a lot of these artists that was hot for 2 summers, 3 summers. There's a lot of these artists that had a couple songs, but they don't have the music that's so wide ranging that it's going to overshadow. Because if you're talking just rap, 99% of y'all ain't better than Jay just rapping.
Yeah, come on. That's not even close.
So you can't just put a rap song out because 99% of y'all rap music is not better than Jay. Even Jay's worst album, like, bro, you gotta look back. Whatever y'all want to name is Jay's worst album. On his worst album, he probably got 3 or 4 bangers on that worst album that y'all say is trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Will. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we talking timeless music, and you trying to put that up against guys who their album was hot 20 years ago. Y'all not even listening to none of that.
Nelly first album with Diamond, and I'm saying this respectfully because I have no issues with Nelly or nothing like that, but you wouldn't nobody even think the Nelly name to get in the versus battle with Jay-Z.
Right.
But he went Diamond.
Right. Like, if we're gonna talk, if we're gonna use sales as the barometer, so we put Bow Wow on stage with Jay-Z because Bow Wow sold more records. Like, come on, let's stop. Let's be realistic, bro. If we talking music, I really think only Kanye could get on that stage and you'll be like, all right, because we know Kanye got a couple classic albums under his belt and Kanye's collaborated on so much stuff that when they get on stage and you start playing them bangers, it's going to be a different energy. But it ain't too many guys that can get on that stage that's going to bring that type of energy.
Yeah. It's Jay-Z, man. That's it. It's whole.
Well, what's your favorite song on Reasonable Doubt, Will? For me, it's always Politics as Usual. Politics as Usual was my favorite genre.
Well, my favorite 2 songs, because it's a tie for me.
There's so many songs though.
Is Can I Live and freaking with Mary. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Join with Jay and Mary.
Can't Knock the Hustle.
There you go. Can't Knock the Hustle. Those are my 2 favorite songs.
I mean, so many classics, bro. Like I said, stop, bro. I don't even. I hate. Like I said, I hate, and I agree with what we said earlier. I hate the Jay-Z slander because cats try to do everything in their power to discredit what Jay-Z done for the game and his impact. Let's call it what it is, bro.
Nobody has stood the test of time like Jay-Z.
Not even close.
And you are still checking for a Jay-Z verse anytime they say it's a new song with Jay-Z on it. Anytime the world goes crazy if a new Jay-Z verse is dropped on some song. Everybody don't get that. I'm sorry.
You saw the response. You saw the response when Cardi dropped Imaginary Player, and then people realized it was Jay's song, and then his streams actually went higher than hers when people realized, oh, that's Jay. Yeah. That's the type of music Jay. Mind you, that same beat that y'all loving from Cardi now, that was 30 years ago. And Jay killed it then.
And shout out to Cardi because she did her thing on it.
Oh yeah, it was cool. It was cool that she brought that out. Talk that big money shit because that's. But again, Jay was doing that 30 years ago. The flossing and all that shit y'all talking about now, Jay been doing that for over 30 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you can't we don't gotta go through that. We know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Eric, let's get into this final thought, man. Talk to me.
Final thought. This Trip. That in this climate and this environment that we're in this country is disheartening. That YouTube TV and ESPN can't come to an agreement and I can't watch the Monday Night Football game tonight. I'm disgusted. All right, Trip. I'm hurt to my core that I either have to pay for an ESPN subscription or stop watching Monday Night Football for the rest of the season. Right? Bad enough that they've already created the monopoly. YouTube TV has the football package that DirecTV used to have. So YouTube TV has all the other football except Thursday night, which is on Prime. Now ESPN don't want to work out a deal with YouTube TV, so they're going to make you buy another subscription just to watch the Monday night game. So I got to have a subscription for the Thursday game. I got to have a subscription for the Sunday games, and then I got to have a subscription now for the Monday game. Cut the bullshit, man. ESPN, YouTube TV, work that out. What's the point of me buying the football package Trip if I'm still gonna miss the Monday night game?
That don't even make no damn sense. I'm gonna send you my login, bro. I'm gonna send you.
Come on, man.
I feel bad. I'm gonna send you my login.
Matter of fact, I need a login. Somebody send me a fucking login. I need to watch the game. Shit.
I got you. Don't even worry about it, bro. Yo, listen, man. My final thought. Tomorrow is election day. You guys could have already been voting early because they do have the early ballots. But make sure you get out there and vote. Hopefully you did some research because we don't just encourage you to vote. We encourage you, to vote responsibly, do some research, do some homework on the people that's on the ballot. Vote responsibly. Especially here in New York, we got the mayoral election going down. I don't care who you vote for. That's your choice. But it would be nice if you did some homework and just actually knew what the candidates were trying to do, or at least say they plan on doing. So definitely make sure y'all get out there. And two, I want to give a quick shout out to Charles Pan Fried Chicken in Harlem. They were out today at Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem, giving out meals tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously y'all know what's going on in this country with the dude that's building ballrooms in DC right now, and what he got going on, and what's going on with our our brothers and sisters out here in the United States of America. So I want to take a minute to shout out Charles Pan Fried Chicken. They out in Harlem. Go support them. Y'all go run it up over there in that restaurant, because they out here putting on for the people, and they've been doing it for a couple of days, giving out meals to the community. So much love to them.
Shout out for sure. That's a beautiful thing.
With that being said, make sure y'all following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, youtube.com/For The Fans Productions. And also make sure if you are not in New York City and you can't watch us on Verizon 43 on Thursday nights from 8 to 9 p.m., just go to that website, realfansrealtalk.com, and click the red button on the homepage. You can watch from anywhere in the world. And make sure you subscribe to the two best podcasts moving. That's the Sanchez Show and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast. We're gonna be back at it on Wednesday night with the parlay. Tune in. They've been hitting me up online asking about the parlays. I told them, listen, you got to watch on Wednesday nights when we on the Sanchez Show with my main man Will Gordon. You know what I'm saying? So just you know what I'm saying, tune in Wednesday nights. We're gonna be right back to it with our picks and our parlays. And with that being said, for myself, Trip Young, and my brother, my co-host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games, we up out of here. Peace.